Greetings, my friends. It is I, Dr. Jimmy, at your service. And to start things off today, I will show off my t-shirt of the day. Ha ha ha! Always. Here it is. Oh, look, kitties. Oh, naughty kitties. This one here looks like he's quite healthy, although quite a naughty little rascal. But behind him, these other kittens, they look like they've seen better days. Oh my, look at them. Oh, and they all seem to be 8, and 1, that makes 9. Oh, I get it. 9 lives! Yes, the kitty in the front is still alive, and the 8 of his previous lives now reanimated as zombies. It's a zombie kitten apocalypse. Ha! What fun. I found this lovely t-shirt at a site called T-Villain. I must recommend it. Every day there's a new t-shirt, an evil t-shirt. Ooh, what fun. But only available for 24 hours. So if you see a shirt you like and you have the cash and can afford it, you can buy it on that day, because after the 24 hours are up, it vanishes into thin air. Oh my. And I just happened to luck across this one a couple of years ago. Pardon. It's called Bad Past Lives, because I like zombies and I like kittens. Therefore, zombie kittens are really appropriate. I believe there's an evil cat very close by. Yes, currently dormant, sleeping on the daybed over there. Maybe if we don't wake her, she won't attack. Ooh. Now let's get on with the subject of today's video. Have yourself a scary little Christmas, full of Yuletide fright. Boys and girls, you should hide under your bed tonight. For Krampus is coming, hang on to your hat. The gingerbread man will beat you with a baseball bat. There's an evil teddy bear, a jack-in-the-box as well. Then Krampus will come to drag your wretched soul to hell. Soul to hell, soul to hell. Seasoned greetings. A bit unseasonal. It's August, for crying out loud. Christmas doesn't come that early. Well, it did for us 1 week ago. The 4th of August, exactly 1 week ago. And there was a great reveal for Orlando at last. Oh boy, oh boy. After all those reveals. Or got some plum pudding stuck in my throat. You should take the little holly berries off first. Those aren't edible. You eat it with the holly berries still attached, and especially if you don't blow out the brandy when it's burning, it can give you a bit of reflux. Well, if I don't puke up my lungs, then I'll be able to continue. All right, as I was saying. Yes, a week ago today, a reveal for Orlando, but also for Hollywood, about Krampus. Ah, oh, joy. Yes, Krampus. Now, of course, there's a lot about Krampus I could say, and about all sorts of Christmas festivities and historical meanings behind them. I'm saving that for a later video, a Who's Who Krampus video I'll do eventually. I've got all kinds of videos I'm planning. Way too many. I haven't gotten around to yet. Including, of course, my history videos, my Who's Who videos, my other updates for other reveals, not just Orlando, but Hollywood and Japan, and of course, cocktails. But we'll get to that later. Hopefully the Krampus cocktails can come tonight. Oh my goodness. All sorts of videos. But this one, of course, Krampus, the announcement. So, I won't go into too much background detail, saving that, but suffice to say, if you're not familiar with Krampus, I can give you a little brief. When he says brief, hang on to your hat, it's going to be 3 days. Krampus is part of old Christmas traditions in Europe. Yes, lots of great old Christmas traditions in Europe. Santa Claus, of course, St. Nicholas, and of course became Sinterklaas in Holland, and then the Dutch came to New York and brought him and made him into Santa Claus. Oh, and through commercialization and marketing and cartoons and Coca-Cola commercials, he turned into this big fat red man, big fat jolly guy. Ho ho ho! Oh, I'm so friendly and happy and no need to be scared of me. Although I often see small children breaking into tears when they're supposed to meet Santa in the shopping malls. There's a little bit of terror behind Saint Nick. Yeah, sometimes you wonder about the fact that Saint Nick is Santa Claus, spirit of giving, but also we say Old Nick is a name of the devil. Coincidence? Some people like to play games. SANTA, where you just have to change the letters around a little bit and it spells SATAN. Oh! Yes, and they both wear red suits. Is there some connection? Well, in our own American Santa Claus, he's just pure fun. And of course, all those cartoons we saw, cartoons and commercialization, marketing, we got Santa Claus is coming to town, you know, with Mickey Rooney, and then there was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the little elf who wants to be a dentist. All those things mixed up with the traditions. We have a view of a very jolly old elf, who just wants to give presents to us on Christmas Day and fill our stockings with goodies and treats. Nothing to be scared of. There's one lingering bit of the idea of reward for good children and punishment for bad children. Just a little bit of that left over. But he has a list. He's checking it twice to see who's naughty, who's nice. A little bit of that, and the veiled threat that maybe you won't get goodies for Christmas if you've been naughty. In fact, some places, not very many anymore, and I've never heard of anyone actually happened to, but they used to say that you might get coal in your stocking instead of goodies if you've been naughty. And that might be unfortunate, but it certainly isn't, dire punishment. You just don't get your candy, you get coal instead. In fact, there's some people today who market bits of chocolate shaped like coal, and that totally defeats the whole point. It's not how you may be punished for being naughty if the coal turns out to be yummy chocolate. You might as well be naughty and have chocolate. But in Europe, they understand. Even today, some of these old traditions are revived and becoming more and more popular again. That you can teach the children to be good by offering a carrot and a stick. Well, not a pointy knife, but a stick nonetheless. Yes, quite literally, actually. And in their tradition, Saint Nicholas comes riding in on a white horse. Very nice beard, bishop's hat and a crook. He comes riding in Germany and in Scandinavia, those places, and he comes in usually accompanied by someone else who carries a bag full of sticks. In some parts of Europe, this person is Black Peter, who's apparently a Christmas elf who fell down the chimney and got soot all over himself. And a lot of places, Black Peter is becoming less and less popular because his face is just all blacked up and he looks a bit too much like one of those mockeries of Africans. And so it's considered a bit racist, and they're saying we don't like Black Peter. But in other parts of Europe, they don't have to worry about that because it's not a human race at all. It's a fiend. It's a furry beast with fangs and horns, and he's called Krampus. And he's a devil come to punish the bad children on Christmas, just as St. Nicholas comes to reward the good. And while St. Nicholas hands candy and treats to the good children, Krampus hands sticks to the bad children's parents so they can whack them with the sticks. Switch their little legs with the nice hard sticks. It's corporal punishment is not completely forgotten in parts of Europe, although sometimes it's just symbolic. And In fact, they go a bit further than that into little cards and pictures and stories. Really, really rotten children, the ones who not only don't say their prayers at night, the ones who not only don't do their chores, the ones who aren't not only rude or mean to their siblings, the really bastard children, the bullies and vicious little punks who deserve to a sound thrashing. Those Krampus will go further. He will grab them, snatch them, put them into his sack. He's got a sack like St. Nick does, but it's not full of presents. It's an empty sack that he fills with children who have been rotten, bad, stinking little bastards. He grabs those evil children and drags them off to the fiery pits of hell, so that their souls will burn in eternal damnation. A bit severe, and not what you'd expect for Christmas, I think, but that's the story. And you can see that on little greeting cards that say Gruß von Krampus. Gruß Gott. Greetings of Krampus. So, what fun. Krampus, of course, is becoming more popular. It's being revived in Europe. They're doing more Krampusy stuff at Christmas. More and more the Germans and Scandinavians are rediscovering their lost traditions, and they put on the Krampus suits and run through the village streets chasing children for fun on Christmas time. And it's all in good fun, of course. No one actually gets damned to hell. At least I hope not. And as a result, Krampus is starting to cross the Atlantic and get to the United States like Santa did so many years ago. And is starting to pop up in American popular culture. In fact, there were a couple of different films about Krampus last year, not just one. But there was one that was much bigger, a much wider release in all the cinemas and released by a major film company. Universal. I think I've heard of that place before, yeah. Yes, through Legendary Pictures, and Universal distributed it. So it's a Universal horror film, huh? All about the holidays and about what happens when you don't do the holidays right and you piss off Krampus. And he comes down on a little family called the Engels and punishes them for being naughty in horrific ways. But he's not alone, no. And Krampus is rather striking and scary. Great big hulking demon, horns, but you don't see his face ever. Not once. No. Just a little peek through a mask. He's wearing a Santa mask and he never takes it off, so it leaves it to the imagination what the face of the fiend really looks like. Makes it a bit scarier when you don't really know what's back there. Imagine all kinds of horrible things. And he's got a bunch of evil elves, also wearing creepy masks, who do his bidding. But, oh, even more fun, some demonic little Christmassy toys and things that are just amusing and horrible at the same time. A twisted teddy bear, fierce and horrible with fangs. A jack-in-the-box that, oh God, it's like some great sluggish beast that swallows humans whole. And there's a delightful little Christmas angel that sits upon the Christmas tree, except this one has nothing to do with heaven at all. And my favourite, demented little gingerbread men. Yummy cookies, but they're here for you, and they're psychotically insane, coming at you with knives and things. Crazy, mad, killer gingerbread men. You know, it's run as fast as you can. You gotta get away from the gingerbread man. He's gonna kill you. Oh, fun. It's a terrific movie. I liked it a lot. It's delightful. It's got the Christmas spirit. Strangely enough, it really does. And yet it's scary as fuck. And it'll be a very fun house. I just delighted to hear that film, made by Michael Dougherty, the same man who made the wonderful Trick or Treat film, that Halloween anthology many years ago, with little Sam Hain, the little demonic little pumpkin head fellow with the mask, and the little Trick or Treat children from beyond the grave, and there's a vampire and some werewolves and serial killers in the movie. It's very fun. And it was partial inspiration for the Schoolhouse Scare Zone we had all those years ago at Halloween Horror Nights 18. They've never done Trick or Treat straight up. Maybe they will someday. I hope they do. And maybe Krampus coming this year means we might get Trick or Treat next year, especially as they're planning a sequel, I think, in 2017. So that might be something we might want for Halloween Horror Nights 27. But Krampus is coming this year, and they're doing the house based on this film from last year at Universal Studios Florida for Halloween Horror Nights 26, but also over in Hollywood, a maze for Halloween Horror Nights 2016 over there. And the other shared IPs, Texas Chainsaw and Halloween, for example, they're doing them up differently in both places. In Orlando, they're like straight adaptations of the movies, Halloween 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one. But over in Hollywood, they're going to take original twists, sort of different versions of those concepts, but with some new ideas thrown into it as well. So that's kind of different what they're doing on both coasts. But Krampus should be more similar to each other, not necessarily identical. The logistical reasons why it couldn't be. One's in a tent and one's in a building, but nevertheless, Murdy in Hollywood and Mike Coelho, John Murdy and Mike Coelho, have teamed up, and they've been working together on this like they haven't really done before. And that's interesting, because that means they've been sharing ideas for the maze and the house, and so we should have a little more symmetry here than we had before, and using both of their creative talents together. And that makes it quite wonderful. And of course, all the lovely people who work for them in Hollywood and Orlando, we must never forget that. I mean, they're executive creative directors, but they have a whole legion of artists and designers and brilliant people who work for them, who obviously are going to help realize these wonderful haunted houses and mazes. So it just seems it just excites me very much. It's like waiting for Christmas. Oh, what's going to be under the tree for me? Oh, I get to open it. Ah! It's going to eat me. What fun. Oh, who put that in my eggnog? It's not supposed to have crawly legs. Aunt Dorothy, though, puts the peppermint schnapps in the hot chocolate, and oh, that's good. But the cocktail comes later. All right, where was I? Talked about the team up between Aiello and Murdy on the house. Oh, where it's going to be in Orlando. They're putting this house in the secondary Shrek Theatre. As you know, the Shrek 4D attraction has two separate theatre, so at really busy times they can have two queues going into one and the other, and it doesn't just have to be reloading the same theatre all day. Otherwise you might have queues up the wazoo. But it's not quite as extremely popular as it was when it was new, and don't really need the second theatre going all year round. So even though it's still summer, they close one of the theatres down and start building a house in it. And they did that last year with Asylum in Wonderland 3D. That's where it's going to go, in the same area. Don't expect it to be like Asylum in Wonderland 3D. It's not a 3D house. It's going to be huge and recreate scenes from the movie and the characters from the movie, the gingerbread man, the teddy bear, the Jack-in-the-Box, Krampus himself in all his glory and his dark elves haunting, attacking the Engels family in the house that has been completely snowed in and frozen, and the whole little town is frozen solid, while the dark forces swoop down on them here. And I've been hearing there's a remarkable facade in there of the Engels house all frozen up. It should be quite spectacular. At the same time, because it's indoors in that structure, I hope they're able to amp up the air conditioning so that it's freaking cold in there. I don't know about that. Only one house has ever been made really, really cold. That was Winter's Night back in 2011, and that was in Soundstage 22. They might do that with The Exorcist house this year. It's in the same soundstage, because there's some scenes in The Exorcist that really should be fucking cold. I hope they do that with Krampus, because the whole town has been frozen solid. The whole neighborhood is like completely iced up. So if it's not cold, it might, you know. And also the poor scare actors wear big furry costumes if they're dressed to look like the ones in the movie, and they're going to be dying in the heat if it isn't really froze up. And I hope they're smart enough, and I think they are, to amp up the air conditioning way high so that it gets quite chilly in there, because then it'll really create the spirit of Christmas for all of us to enjoy. That's about all I've got about my announcement. There's a lot more videos to come, as I said. I have more videos about other houses that have been revealed since last week in Orlando, scare zones, shows, stuff in Hollywood, stuff in Japan. I've got all kinds of videos to do, so I may be at it all day. But this is the first one, the Krampus reveal reaction video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're looking forward to it. Remember, be nice. Yeah. Because he sees you when you're sleeping. Or rather, he'll seize you when you're sleeping. Yes, into your room he's creeping in the middle of the night. He'll seize you when you're sleeping, and then he'll start to bite. So, be nice, because Krampus is coming to town.